Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the Small Brain Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the lovely little nation of Bhutan, nestled right in between India and China. This was one of the weirdest, oddest little countries I've ever been to. I wanted to say something in the title like like the North Korea of South Asia or something like that, but that just didn't sound quite right. Although as I'm saying it out loud, it does sound kind of cool. I don't know what I'm saying, but it was very weird, very isolated. I don't know if you've watched the video or not, but they basically staved off tourism into the country for their whole history, all the way up until 1974. They didn't let a single tourist in until 1974. I mean, Japan is seen as like one of the most closed off nations in the entire world, or it was at least. And then they opened in the 1830s, I think. It's when they started allowing trade with outsiders, with I think the Netherlands and the U.S. Commodore Matthew Perry opened it up in 1830, I think. Don't remember that from history class. I just know that because I was there. I went there and I talked to the people. All right, that's how you learn the most about a place. Fuck your history classes, guys. Drop out of college right now and subscribe to the Small Brain Podcast. You will learn more. No, please don't do that. But anyways, yeah, so like we see Japan as this like really isolated nation in the world, but they've been open for over 200 years. Or no, not over 200 years, almost 200 years. Math is hard. Maybe don't drop out of college. Yeah, it was just a bizarre experience, and I feel like so I mean, dude, that's an extra 140 years that they did not have outsiders compared to the other super closed off nation in the world. I mean, Bhutan is insane. They didn't allow television until 1999. They worship phalluses. I mean, this place is like a YouTuber's dream because, I mean, people don't go there. The only stuff I had seen was like a Yes Theory video from like 8 years ago or some shit. Of course, Trubinsky went there. But yeah, I wanted to be kind of like one of the first people to like lay eyes on it. And dude, the phallus temple was like absolutely incredible. It was everything I thought it would be and more. I just had a nice field day talking about cocks, making people say suggestive jokes without their consent. It was great. It was a good old time. Yeah, I remember when the whole time like I went there. So basically like if you haven't seen the videos, I went to Bhutan, had a good first day, drove around. Basically like the whole time we were there, it was like a fucking road trip. We're in a car. I had a driver and a tour guide. You have to have these guys with you. It's the only way you're allowed in the country as a foreigner. The only country that can go to Bhutan without a passport, without a special visa, is Indians. Believe it or not, they want Indians pouring into their country en masse. I don't know why. But yeah, so you actually see a lot of Indians there. Actually, when I was gathering information about my trip, gathering intel about foreign little Bhutan, the lost nation in Asia. I could come up with so many cheesy titles, but I won't. All right? I won't do that. I'll just come up with, well, I still come up with cheesy titles. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so the only information I saw online was Indian vloggers, like vlogging in Hindi. So I had to turn on subtitles and like watch them do the little travel vlog thing. Guys, I don't know if you noticed, but like 90% of travel content online sucks. I don't want to like brag or like say that I'm doing this great thing, but like anytime I want to learn information online about a place, I watch travel YouTube, and most of it's just awful. But so I had to trudge through the videos on Bhutan, but actually saw Indians like going to markets. I saw them renting their own cars, and like Indians are super free to do whatever they want in Bhutan, whereas us Westerners, us outsiders that could change the culture, they don't want us, you know? In America, we have a big issue with immigration. You're like, oh, I don't want all these people to come in. And then you're a racist. What does that make Bhutan, guys? Are they racist? Are they? So yeah, Indians can come and go as they please. They don't even need a passport. They just need like a resident card and then cross over the land border. Westerners are another story. People from China are another story. Bhutan has like this really tumultuous history with China. Being right between two world superpowers, the two most populous nations on the planet. They're kind of I don't know if they're used as a pawn politically. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're usually between some pretty heavy beefs between India and China. Like a lot of resources flow from Tibet through Bhutan. I think there's a river actually that flows from Tibet, maybe through Bhutan into Bangladesh, and the Chinese want to harness it for hydroelectricity, but Bangladesh is like, please, sir, I need water. We need clean, fresh water in Bangladesh. Please don't do this to us. So anyways, you can imagine like there's a lot of geopolitical tensions that happen between these two huge superpowers. India has nukes, by the way, and so does China. But little old Bhutan, as my tour guide put it, doesn't have anything to defend their nation except for their culture. Very based take, Bhutan. Extremely based outlook, I must say. Red pill Bhutan. So yeah, the first few days were really cool. We drove around in the car, but it was a lot of time in the car. Kind of too much for me. Like I think probably 5 hours the first day, just like driving to places. And it wasn't like a very efficient route. We like landed in the country and then drove all the way over here to do something I can't remember. And then like drove midway back and then drove back the farthest way and then drove back to the town where the airport was so I could sleep. So it's like we did this whole fucking circuit the first day. And then I think I got really bad food poisoning the first night. Really, really bad food poisoning. As if any food poisoning is less bad than the others. Anytime you have any food poisoning, it's fucking awful. But I digress, my dear followers. I digress. I think it was like chicken jerky or something I had. It was like really dry and spicy. And honestly, thinking back to it, I want to vomit. So maybe that's my body giving me a clear sign that it was the chicken jerky. But before that, I just had like a latte with ice in it. So I'm like, okay, maybe they gave me bad ice. I'm not really sure. But yeah, anyways, I don't know what gave it to me. But the first day was just awful food poisoning. It's one of those where you go to sleep and you're feeling good, long, full day. I think I woke up at like 3 a.m. to take a flight to get there. So I was super tired, just went to bed early, full day of adventuring. And then it's one of those things where it wakes you up at like 11, 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. And God, my body is like wanting to regurgitate right now, just talking about it. But it feels like hell inside your stomach. And you know what's coming. It's one of those where you wake up and clear as day, your body knows exactly what's about to happen. But you're fighting it consciously. You're like, no, God damn it, I'm not going to vomit. And so I'm like, I'll just go have some diarrhea instead, body. I'll tell you what to do. You need to get this out of us. You're going to do it through my ass. And so I did that. And then, no, it fully came up at the other end. It was one of those where it was like back and forth, chuck shit. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I'm actually surprised I'm going into this much detail with you guys because I don't like talking about it. And I'm sure you don't like hearing it. So let's move on. But anyway, so the second day. Oh, by the way, the fucking resort I stayed at, they gave me some like retirees Bhutan tourist package because everywhere I went, if there was any people, by the way, there was like no people most places I went, but any place like a restaurant or like a gift shop I went to, if there were any people there, they were above the age of 75. I swear to God, they were Australian or like Belgian and above the age of 75. So I was like the only single male traveler there alone. I think I saw like one girl maybe in like her 30s traveling alone, but the vast majority of people were Westerners, the kind that would go on a safari or maybe a cruise ship or something where the guide's kind of holding their hand, and that's the vibe in Bhutan. It's not like choose your own adventure. It's not raw. It's not rustic. They show you the best shit. They show you the nicest restaurants. They show you the beautiful landscapes. They don't want you to see the squatty potties. There's actually one day where we pulled off the road. I really had to pee. And we just stopped at a random shop and I used their toilet and it was just a hole in the ground. And that's fine. I'm not judging them. They live in the countryside in a developing nation. Why would they have a fucking bidet like Japanese style? I totally understand the situation, but it was just like, it kind of felt, I don't know if comparing it to North Korea is the best idea because I really did like Bhutan and I want to be able to go back, but it just felt like really controlled. They're holding your hand all the time. The one time, and we'll get to this later, but the one time I was able to get away from the guide was only for like an hour, It's tough. You kind of have to meander through their like bureaucratic system. Basically, they just don't want outside influence. I mean, that's why they waited till 1974 to open their borders. And the first country to let in tourists, I think, was India. Before that, they were allowing Indians in to work for them. But after that, yeah, like 1974, they opened their borders, guys. Like, can you imagine the entire history of a nation? Like, imagine if the U.S. had no immigrants, no tourists for 200 years, like the bicentennial, and that's when we're like, all right, let's start letting people in. Can you imagine like how different the country would be? You know what I'm saying? I mean, all the waves of immigration, the Irish, the Italians, Jews from Europe, and Africans, Latinos. Like, we would be a very, very different country. And so Bhutan is like super homogenous. The people all look alike as far as I could see. I only went to like 4 towns, but yeah, guys, it feels very isolated, and it feels like very pristine and pure. Like, the water is fresh, the grass is green, the wind is blowing, the sky is blue. It's just lovely, just like perfect weather when I was there. Like 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not doing Celsius. You learn my system. This is my channel, goddammit. Learn our bad system. It doesn't make sense, but learn it, because I'm not learning yours, okay? God bless America, guys. Learn Fahrenheit. Learn it. It makes more sense than you think it does. 0 is fucking cold. 100 is fucking hot, okay? And in between, duh, idiot, duh. 0 is like, you're going to get hurt, it's so cold. And 100 is like, you're going to get hurt, it's so hot. How hard is that? Not hard. That's the answer. Learn our way, okay? You're on an American platform, YouTube. You're watching an American vlogger. That's me. I'm American. Okay? Get with the fucking picture, guys. All right? We're not learning, oh, it makes so much sense. Oh, it is the superior way. Oh, a kilometer. No. A kilometer is not that far. Your biggest unit of measurement should be fucking far. A mile is far. If you walk a mile, that's kind of far. All right? A kilometer? What the fuck is a kilometer? I'm not learning. You learn. Anyways, do you like every time I impersonate an obnoxious European, they're always French? Maybe read between the lines there, guys. Maybe read between the lines. Anyways, yeah, it's beautiful, pristine, lovely nation. Even though it's so close to India and they've had waves of Indian immigration, it's still clean. I don't know how it works. Don't ask me. I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm not an anthropologist. I'm not going to go into it, but it was very clean. And yeah, the people kind of seemed like Dominicans in a way. Like, yes, they're friendly, but no one is going to like overtly like, hey, like, what's up? Where are you from? Oh my God, that's cool. Like, I'm into this and blah, blah, blah. And oh, I'd love to come to your country. And like, what about this music and blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't get those characters like you do in, say, India, or even in Japan. You get like these really eccentric people, or, in other countries we've been to on this trip. I almost spoiled. But you just didn't get that. People just seem really subdued, very respectful, very nice, friendly, I would say. Like, they're willing to like make small talk with you, and then they're like, okay, see you later, fuckface. But no, everyone was very respectful. But yeah, it was kind of hard to get like those local kind of interactions that I feel like make the channel so unique. So yeah, one of the days I had to like, all right, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what happened? So I had food poisoning and then stayed up all night chucking. And then the next day we had like plans to go to this fertility temple. If you haven't seen the videos, which if you haven't, you should go check it out. Small Brain American on YouTube. I don't know if there's a audience that just listens to the podcast. I can't imagine that's the case, but in any case, I'm a YouTuber. I have a YouTube travel channel. Go check it out. I went to Bhutan. God, that's so cringe. I hate self-promoting. I feel like I'm not very good at it. Yeah, so we woke up the next day, and we're supposed to go to this fertility temple. It's where they worship phalluses, cocks, dongs, schlongs, penises, rods, hogs, dicks. It's where they worship dicks. Basically, this Buddhist monk back in the day was an alcoholic, womanizer. He loved to booze and fuck ladies, and then he told the ladies it was like a blessing to fuck him. He's literally like a modern day like cult leader kind of thing. Like, if it happened today, he would be canceled. This guy is very problematic, and we will not have this in Bhutan, okay? I will go back there, and I will colonize them with my Western woke culture, and I will tell them the ways of the civilized world. They cannot be worshiping people like this. That is not okay. This guy is problematic. We need to get him out. Tear down all the cock statues. Tear them down. Yes, we're supposed to go to this fertility temple, right? And they have these big, like, pictures of dicks, and this guy, this monk, like, he fucked a lot of girls with his cock, and he blessed them that way. But also, one day, these witches came to town, and he killed them all with his cock. He beat them to death with his schlong. He murdered them to death with his dick. Okay, and there's a temple there where supposedly he built it. I think it was like in the 1500s or something. He built this temple to commemorate this great deed. Look, I killed these witch whores with my cock. Let's all celebrate. So you go there, and women, if they're having fertility issues, they can put on this like this is cock. What's it called? It's like a backpack or something. It's like a big wooden cock on a chain, and they put it over their back, and they do 3 laps around the temple, and then they can have a baby. And I went there, and I was making all these jokes. And on the way up, we actually met someone who's like, yeah, we had issues, and then look, here's our baby right here. And I was like, oh my God, that's actually amazing. My tour guide was like, yeah, we lost a son, and then my wife had a miscarriage, and we came back here, and it was successful in the 3rd time. Now we have 2 beautiful daughters. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I really am a small-brained American dickhead, and this is true. I don't know. Who's to say? Not me. I'm not a fertility expert. I'm not a fucking Buddhist monk, but it was very cool and very powerful, and I'm really glad I went to Bhutan for that very reason. I mean, I was traveling elsewhere, and this guy told me, yeah, there's this place that worships cocks, blah, 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 blah. Here's the story. And I was like, dude, I have to fucking go. I have to go to Bhutan for the memes, bro, for the memes. And then I went there, and they actually take it very seriously. And who knows if it's real or not. But they had like a photo album, all these foreigners that have been there over the years to get the blessing from the fertility temple. And they have pictures with their babies from this temple. It was amazing. So I don't know. I don't know if it's true, but towards the end of the video, I did feel a little guilty about, like, you know, making light of this situation. But I mean, let's be real. Like, the story is insane. So no regrets. No regrets. But anyways, so that was on the 3rd day. The 2nd day, I'm getting ahead of myself. The 2nd day was, and I can already hear you guys in the comments. Oh, Connor, you're so ADD. How are we supposed to keep up with this? That's the format. If you don't like it, don't listen. All right? I have a severe case of ADD, if you can't tell. So, be gone, peasants. If you don't like it, don't fucking watch. This is how my mind works. Do you see any notes? There's no notes. I'm a natural, okay? But that entails a little bit of meandering, all right? So let's go with it. Let's go with it. All right, rant over. Now it's just you and me. We got rid of those people. Let's talk for real, guys. Buy my merch, guys. Please buy my merch so you can line my pockets full of your sweet, sweet cash. Anyways, getting so ahead of myself. The 2nd day, after I stayed up all night chucking, the guy's like knocking on my door like, hey, let's go to the fertility temple. We have plans. We're supposed to be there at 9. And I'm like, hell no. I stayed up all night chucking. I can barely keep water down. You think I'm going to get on these mountain roads, on these like shitty 3rd world roads with a weak stomach? And what? And do what? Go to a fertility temple and like be super uncharismatic on camera and blah, 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 blah. And it sucks. I mean, I took a major L because like the visa is like $100 a day. And then I think the tour guide was like $50 a day. So it's like $150 like down the drain, like right there. But I just couldn't do it. Like it just wasn't worth it. I didn't want to go out to fertility temple. And by the way, they wanted to take me to a hospital. They're like, you can't keep liquids down. We need to go to a hospital. Put an IV in you, take blood work, like see what's going on. And I'm messaging Sarah. Sarah didn't come with me, obviously. And she's like, don't go to the hospital. Bhutanese hospitals are so bad that Bhutanese people fly from Bhutan to India to get care. That's how bad the hospitals are. The hospitals in India are better. Little sidebar. When I was in India, he meanders so much. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. When I was in India a couple of years ago, I was in Calcutta at this hostel, and this guy was cycling across India. I don't know why, the dumbass. He was cycling across India, and he got hit by a bus. It like clipped him on the side of the road, and then he fell, and then it like ran over his foot, and then he like shattered his foot in multiple places, and then fucking went to the hospital. They like stitched him up, they bandaged him up, gave him an IV. I don't really know about the IV part. I'm just making that up, but everything else is true. They stitched him up. They like used needles and shit, and then like 2 weeks later, his leg got worse. It was like swollen. He had to go back. It was a whole thing. Like the hospitals are disgusting in India, and the hospitals in Bhutan are worse. And so I was like, why would I go to Bhutan? For what reason? For what reason would I go to a Bhutanese hospital? I just need some fucking electrolytes. I need a lot of water. I need some rest. That's all. You're not sticking me with any goddamn needles. So anyways, yeah, I didn't want to go to the goddamn hospital. And he's like banging on my door all day, like, hey, should we go to the hospital? Let's go. I'm like, no, dude, leave me alone. I know I'm your liability. I know you're worried about me. I totally understand, but fuck off. Like, I don't want your help. I just need to rest, okay? I need to rest. Bring me some plain rice and bananas and like chicken stock. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. I have a stomach bug. I'm going to get over it. Please leave me alone. But every 2 hours, she's like knocking on my door like, are you okay? Are you okay? And as I'm saying it out loud, I know I sound like a dickhead. I understand I'm making him sound very sweet. And he was being sweet. It was out of the kindness of his heart. I totally understand. I was his liability. But at the same time, like, just leave me alone, dude. I'm trying to rest. I would fall asleep. He would come knocking, waking me up. Can I come in? No, you can't come in. No, you can't come in. I don't know what's going on in Asia. I feel like this has happened multiple times in multiple countries. People will just barge into your room. They don't give a fuck. It certainly happened in India. There was this one place, Patna, where I went after the India's Train Ride from Hell on the way to the meditation retreat. And I met this guy on the street, and he seemed okay. And then I like gave him my WhatsApp or Instagram or something. And he's like, hey, can we hang out later, blah, blah, blah. And I'm ghosting him. I don't want to hang out with him. And then I get like a call from the front desk at like 10 a.m. And I'm like, I can be kind of a dickhead when I travel. I'm not going to lie. But in my mind, I don't owe anyone anything. I didn't ask for room service. I paid my fee in cash. There's no issue. I'm going to ignore this phone call from the front desk. How important could it be? What are they going to say? Checkout's at 11, sir. Okay, it's 9:30. Fine. You know, I'm not going to answer it. So I like picked up the phone off the hook and then just set it down and ignored it. And then they called again and I did the same thing. Felt very powerful in the moment. And then I got like a knock on my door. I was like, oh God, is there an issue? And then I go up and it's the guy from yesterday. Because I told him where I was staying, he went to the front desk, he asked to see me, and they let him up. And he's like, can I come in? And it's like 9:30, I had just woken up, and I'm like, no, dude, no, you can't. Me and Sarah were in another country, and we were like sitting on this little, this futon, like watching TV at night. I had my shirt off, I think she was in her pajamas, it was late, we were eating dinner. We don't owe anyone anything at that point. That's how I view it. This is our alone time. This is our place. We're renting it for this amount of time. Fuck off, basically. That's what we're paying you to do. You own it. Don't talk to us. If you need me, text me. Okay? And so we heard this knocking at the door, and I tell Sarah, I'm like, no, just ignore it. We're not going to go. We don't owe anyone anything. Let's just sit here and enjoy it. And then I heard the door open, and then someone comes to the fucking sliding door and like opens it up. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? What do you want? And she's like, oh, I own the bakery next door. I wanted to come give you some treats. And I'm like, you're doing this as a promo right now? You're intruding on my private space that I paid for because you want to sell me some fucking, or give me some shitty croissants that have been sitting out all day? You think I appreciate this? Another one in Japan. Really nice place. Lovely country. Obviously, I love Japan so much. But the Airbnb owner will just come by and just like walk into your place. And you're like, get the fuck out, dude. I'm paying you to fuck off. I'm literally paying to have the illusion that I own this space for this amount of time. And you walking in and like acting like you own it, because you do, let's be honest, you own it, but you breaking that illusion annoys me. Okay, anyways. So the guide kept doing that. He's like, can I come in? I'm like, for what? I have no shirt on. I'm sick. What do you want to do? Chat? No, fuck off. I'm watching right-wing propaganda on YouTube. You think I want to like chat right now? You think I want to chat? No. Absolutely not. There's throw up in the fucking sink. I don't have a shirt on. I didn't sleep. Leave me alone. And then he's like texting me all day like, do you want dinner? I'm like, no, dude. I just shit and fucking barfed my brains out all night. I don't want dinner. How many different ways do I have to say it? He felt like a bad student that I had to like teach him like, no, here's why. No, go away. And so anyways, I finally fall asleep that night after like eating just like rice and bananas during the day, just like a little bit. And for me, I'm a big guy, like I'm tall and I need to eat a lot, right? So that for me was like a big step. And like, all right, let's improve the health of the stomach. I'm hungry all day, but let's do it so we don't chuck all night. So I finally go to sleep. It's like 10. And then he knocks on the door again and he wakes me up and he's like, can you come to the door? And I'm like, what is this? Is it an emergency? And I go to the door after being woken up, and he's like, "Do you want dinner?" And I was like, "It's 10 p.m., my dude. I'm sleeping. Go away." So that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I know for some of you, I'm going to sound like an arrogant dickhead. But that's just the way I see it. I'm paying for the space. I told you I don't need dinner. Please go away and let me rest. That's pretty much it. And I know it came from the goodness of his heart, and he was looking out for me, and I totally understand that perspective. But from my perspective, I hope you can also understand, I wanted him to fuck right off. So anyways, the next day, we finally go to the fertility temple, have my little experience. And then after that, I go rent a motorcycle. And to me, the motorcycle was like the one chance to actually get some freedom in Bhutan, because the whole time the guide is holding your hand. I just had that experience where he's knocking every 30 minutes, asking if I need food, asking if he wants to go to the temple, asking me if I want to go to the hospital, asking me if he can come in. You know what I mean? It's a lot. The guy is doing the most. And so I wanted to like get on a motorcycle and just fuck off into the mountains, but I can't do that because it's Bhutan. So you have to have your guide there, like chaperoning you. So in the video, I ride the motorcycle. I have a little adventure. I go stop and say hello to some locals. These guys are like practicing archery, which is really cool. It's like Bhutan's national sport. I think they had someone in the Olympics do archery. I see these guys like playing checkerboard or shuffleboard. It's like a mix between checkers and shuffleboard. I don't really know what it was, but I'm trying to like get some good content, get some good interactions, like meet cool people, get a feel for how Bhutan is, right? And I feel like the whole time the guide is like mediating this experience for me. And I've been talking a lot about the guide, but he was very knowledgeable. It's just the reality in Bhutan. That's how it is. You have to have a guide. So it's nothing personal against the guy. He did a perfectly fine job. I just feel like for me, I was like a unique customer for him. Like, why would he have to go to an archery range to show the 75-year-old Aussies and Kiwis Bhutanese archery? Although as I'm saying it, that does sound sick, but I feel like that's not what most people want. They want to go do the little touristy cheesy trek. They want to like buy a little dick pendant. They want to do blah, 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 like very cookie cutter shit. And for me, I wanted a more raw look at it. So I understand maybe there was like a difference in values, right? A difference in goals between me and the tour guides. But again, like I tried as best I could to like train him of like, I want to do this. I want to talk to these kinds of people. I want to see this kinds of stuff. Here's what we do. Here we have 4 days. Okay, now one of the days is gone. Let's focus on the Kak temple and local experiences. So there was like a lot of push and pull between the guy. But again, I hope I don't sound like too harsh on him, because they're government tour guides, guys. Like, that's just the way it is. It's like me going to North Korea and being like, oh man, I really think they're too controlling. And it's like, yeah, no shit, dickhead. But to be fair, there wasn't a lot of stuff about Bhutan online. So I was kind of figuring it out live. So anyways, the last day, yeah, we like go to this archery range, riding this motorcycle around Bhutan, talk to the local archers. It's really cool. A lot of them spoke English. Like guys in their 50s and 60s were speaking like good English, like conversational. I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. Really nice, friendly guys. They let me like tag along and hang out. I like pulled one of their bows back, and it was really fucking hard actually. You had to be really strong. Like, what's that? Your behind your shoulder there. What's that muscle? Your delts, maybe? I don't know. Who knows? You got to be really strong though. It's fucking tough. But yeah, even on the motorcycle, like it just gave me the illusion of freedom. It wasn't true freedom like you have on a bike. Like if you're riding through Europe or the fucking, North Africa or something, like you have true freedom. You have your GPS, you have your gas, you have your water, you have your food, you have your tent. Like you are free as fuck on a motorcycle. And in Bhutan, you are certainly not free. I mean, the guide was there behind me, tailing me on the motorcycle. Any turn I made, I had to use a turn signal, let them know, hey, does he see me turning? Like, or if they go ahead of me, if I don't want them to be on camera or something, and I have to follow them, and I have to stop when they stop, and I have to honk if I want to stop. And it's just like, this is kind of crazy, man. Like, I literally just want to go around and talk to like merchants and salesmen and like archers and regular people. I'm not trying to like make anti-Bhutan propaganda. I'm not trying to fucking pollute the streams. I'm not trying to like burn down the forest. Like, I literally just want to walk around and talk to people. And unfortunately, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because that's why Bhutan is impressive. That's why it is so unique. It's because they've staved off outside influence forever, and it's hard to get to, and it's expensive, and most people haven't seen content on Bhutan. So it's like, it's kind of like the best part of it and the worst part. I have this theory that like the best part about a place is usually also like the worst part. Like in Japan, it's really orderly and tidy, but it's also really orderly and tidy, and you have to be fucking on your shit. You have to be clean. You have to show up on time. You can't litter. You have to blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of expectations that come with that. And that's just one other example. I can think of a million for like a lot of other places in the world. But yeah, so it was just tough moving around Japan, Bhutan. And I feel like that second day, especially after the food poisoning, I was so tired. It was a bit of a challenge to make content, and I feel like I came out on top. I met the archers. I met these local girls like selling like dick pillows and stuff. It was hilarious. And yeah, I feel like Bhutan in the end was a great experience. Really hard to get to, really fucking expensive, man. Like, I didn't talk about it on video, but god damn was it expensive to get out there. It was like a flight from where I was in Asia was like, I think it was like $900 one way, because I had to connect in Thailand and then connect to Bhutan. So it's like 2 flights. It's like $900. And then from there to India, I went to India after Bhutan, was like, I think it was like 600. So it's like 1,500 on flights just alone, plus the visa. The visa was like $100 a day plus like $50 a day for the guides. It was like $150 a day. I was there 4 days. That's $600. So that's already over $2,000 on everything. I mean, I guess the advantage is like they pay for everything. All your meals are included. All your hotels are included. But still, goddamn, 4 days over $2,000. That's $500 a day. That's fucking bonkers. Definitely didn't make the money back on the YouTube video. But if you guys enjoy the videos, make sure to share them with your friends. Share this podcast with your friends. Still kind of figuring out what our place is in the world with this podcast. I feel like I like to just come on and rant. I would like to get like more legit guests. So if you guys like want a specific guest, leave it in the comments below. Sometimes I'm going to be doing 360 podcasts. So if I don't film a video with it, I have a 360 camera where we go scuba diving and like on little jungle adventures and stuff like that. So I'll just include like B-roll of that. So if you have like a headset, like a Meta Vision Quest or like an Apple Vision Pro, you can like look at that, or on your phone, you can even like scroll around and scrub and stuff. So yeah, I feel like cool stuff coming up with the podcast. I would like to hear you guys' input though. What else? Anything else about Bhutan? I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to like discourage people from going. Like I said, it's kind of like a Dominica situation where it's like, I just feel like me and the place had like a value disagreement of like, I wanted this certain set of experiences and the place itself was like, nah, but I'll give you this, or I can give you this, or I can give you, a girl holding a dick pillow for a thumbnail. Bro, when I was filming and she fucking held up the dick pillow, I was like, this is perfect. This is gold. Feel so bad. She's such a nice girl. But yeah, when it happened, my content brain was like, content. But yeah, I don't want to make the tour guides look bad. Like I said, it's just, they're doing their job at the end of the day. It's just, I went there for specific reasons to get like a certain kind of video. And it was a real challenge, I must say. And it was very expensive. But I can say I went to some place that like a lot of other people haven't been. So, oh yeah, also I saw Everest on the plane from Bhutan we had to connect in Nepal. So like from Bhutan over northern India to Nepal. It was like absolutely stunning day, perfectly clear. Saw a nice view of Mount Everest. So yeah, no regrets from Bhutan. I had a good time, but it was a challenge. So anyways, guys, thank you very much for listening. If you haven't already subscribed, please. We're still trying to get this thing up and running, and share it with your friends. We're over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. So see you next time. Bye-bye. I love you.